All right, good morning, everyone. I'm ready for you guys to hit me with your questions and to hit that like button. I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Super thankful for all of you guys. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to hop on here and to get some questions. Let's see here. I went live on Thanksgiving Day with my mom. I agreed to go on live twice, which I think was a little bit of an overstretch on my part. I was super tired after we ate. Good morning. So I think I will go live again on holidays, but I won't go live 2 times on one holiday. Okay, John Francis is here with a question. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Okay, I've got 24 of you now. All right. Uh-oh. When are they going to process your PEUC? So that would be if you're a regular unemployment claim, that's your first extension. So your claim balance is going to go all the way down to 0. It's going to sit at 0 until you certify again, and you won't get any information about it until the claim balance is all the way at 0. And then the PEUC extension will automatically kick in, but that's only going to take you through December 26th. Yes. So, John, if your next time to certify is December 6th and your claim balance is going to sit at 0 and all the way up until you certify. And I actually can't remember if it changes right before you certify or right after you certify. I actually think you have to certify first, and then that's when the claim balance gets adjusted. Okay. I hope that answered that question. John Davis said, how come I didn't get my unemployment last week? I don't know the answer to that. So my best advice to you is to call the unemployment office and find out why they didn't pay you. Have they asked for ID verification? Have you recently switched to a PUA claim? Do you have any further details for me to help me determine why it might have been left unpaid? Other than that, I'm not sure, and you'll need to call them because did you switch the type of claims, or did you have that request to upload ID verification will normally cause it to go unpaid for a little bit longer. And then of course we had the holiday, so there's a lot of factors playing into last week. Okay, I've got 53 of you, so if I could ask everyone to please like the video, I would really appreciate it. Anthony says, oh yeah, I got $400 left on your PEUC extension, which is about 1 check. Does your balance have to go to the 0 balance before they process your Fed Ed extension? Yes, it's going to go all the way down to 0, and then about 5 to 7 business days is when you'll find out and get that letter in the mail about whether you qualify for Fed Ed or not. Marilyn says, question, what if you get a temporary job for the holidays? Does that affect your extension when you go back on EDD? So it's going to depend. If you're still on your regular weeks of unemployment, when you come back or as you certify, if you've made too much to get benefits, then you'd still be into your regular weeks of unemployment. With the first extension, the PEUC extension, that expires December 26th. So likely if you're already on that extension, if you have temporary work right now, by the time you come back, that extension might be over, unless Congress votes to extend it, which we're maybe expecting that they might extend that program. So if the program's over, then you would find out if you were eligible for the Fed ED extension, if you're on a regular claim, and you can get up to 20 weeks of that. So if you weren't using a couple weeks, it would just mean you'd be able to get weeks longer into 2021. I hope that made sense. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up. Good morning. So after that, when is your next payment? So John Francis, your payments will happen regularly on that PEUC extension. It'll be every 2 weeks, just like it was with regular unemployment. David says, if I exhaust my Fed ED, will I be paid back pay if there's a stimulus? It depends on how the bill is written, but yes, both sides so far are looking to do it retroactively to around when those LWA payments ended in September. Although I was just thinking about that last night and I was doing the math on it, and that would be a lot of money, whether they give us $400 a week or $600 a week. But the last time that they were seriously in negotiations, they were talking about back pay all the way back to September. And yes, even if you're not getting benefits, you would receive a boost for any weeks that you were eligible for a boost, or if you're back to work, whatever the case is. If you were getting unemployment during the weeks the payments go retroactive, then you would be paid retroactively. Yeah, John Francis, it should just happen regularly. The first extension, the PEUC extension, is really seamless, and you'll just continue to certify and get paid like usual. The EDD has actually been pretty good about getting out those the PEUC extension with no problems. The one and only says, hey, so I ran out of the PEUC extension and my account says 0. What happens next? So in about 5 to 7 business days, they will let you know if you qualify for the Fed Ed extension. If you do, then they'll automatically enroll you. You won't need to do anything else. If you don't, you will need to call them and ask them to put you on a PUA claim, which right now only goes through December 26th, but at least that carries you a few more weeks. And again, it's very possible that on December 11th, when they talk about continued relief, raising the debt ceiling, avoiding a government shutdown, the theory that I'm seeing right now is that we won't really have a new bill. We might not have a boost. We might not have stimulus checks, but that on December 11th, when they talk about all that, that it's at least a better than a 50% chance that they'll at least extend the deadline of some of these programs. Okay. Deborah says, good morning. John Davis says, no, I did my payment claim last Wednesday and they haven't even processed it. Normally I get it Friday or Saturday. I didn't know if it was due to Thanksgiving break. I would think that even though they said there's a lot of people that say their claims aren't delayed by the holidays, but I see a lot of information to the contrary. So I would actually guess that is due. The banks were even closed on Thursday. I know it's all electronic. Then the EDD was closed Thursday and Friday. So I would just tend to think that was due to Thanksgiving. But if it's not there tomorrow morning, definitely give them a call and find out why your payment didn't hit. Todd says, you just watched the Meet Kevin video. He said when the federal boost to unemployment gets approved, they will not do retroactive. Do you agree? Yeah. So Todd, I was doing the math on that last night because something that comes up a lot is, well, how much money am I going to get when it goes retroactive? And at this point, we've been so long without an unemployment boost that would be a lot of money. I think one scenario I got, if they also do the $1,200 stimulus checks and they went with the $600 figure, I want to say that was like almost $8,000. Let's do the math. Shoot. It's going to take me a minute to do the math. Let's go with 2 scenarios on back pay if they went all the way back to when those LWA payments ended. So we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I thought it was 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because we've been 12 weeks now without any boost. So 12 times 600, that's $7,200 plus a $1,200 stimulus check. That would equal $8,400. It's hard. That's a lot of cash. And I know that we all need it and that we're behind on our bills, but it's hard. They've been so stingy and not caring. It's hard for me to imagine that they would give us $8,400 at once. So let's go with the $400 figure. So it's 12 weeks, 400 times 12 weeks that we've gone without a boost would be $4,800 just if they go with the $400 amount plus a $1,200 stimulus check. That would be $6,000. It wouldn't, nothing at this point with our government would surprise me. I think it's possible that they won't go retroactive all the way back to September anymore. I tend to agree with Meet Kevin. And that's kind of also where I was getting my the speculation is that they will extend the deadlines of the PUA program and the PEUC program. I trust Meet Kevin. I'm actually, I subscribe to his like YouTube course, and like he gives good, he's solid in his research, and that's why I trust him. Good morning to the 95 of you that are joining me. And if I could ask you to please like the video. Yeah, I just don't know what to expect. It's also still possible that they won't pass anything. It's possible that it won't be retroactive. Like it's the whole spectrum of possibilities right now, because right now it's all speculation. Yeah, it would be so much money retroactively. Okay, Andrew says, some states have been approved for extended PUA. Is this true? Yes, California is one of those states. So it kind of has to do with a lot of factors. California has already added the 7 extended weeks. So some states are, and that brings the total of available weeks of PUA benefits up to 46 weeks for the state of California. Some states like Florida are still only giving out the 39 weeks of PUA. So that's what they're talking about with extended PUA benefits. There's nothing beyond the 46 weeks here in California. John Francis says, so what happens when your weekly is $396, but on December 6th, they only have 147? How's that going to work? So they should automatically adjust it. I think you might have meant 167 because that's the base amount for PUA. The EDD should have access to your records for your W-2, but the base period to calculate your PUA benefit is only 2019 income. So you may need to call and ask them to bump your benefit amount up. John Francis, it's going to be just like regular. So if you got paid like today, for example, and then that was when your balance goes to zero, or like you said, your balance is going to zero, I think on December 6th, it'll be 2 weeks from whenever you certify, and then you'll be able to certify again for the PEUC. Solomon said, oh, nope, I skipped one. Not on. Oh, guys, I'm not the best at like reading the comments. So if I miss your comment, please don't tell me you missed my comment, because that's never intentional. Just please ask your question again. I want to try and get to them all. But if you just say that I missed your question, then I have trouble scrolling. So I'm very sorry. I promise it's not intentional. Just type your question again. Okay. So Ernest says, what is the aggregate benefit for regular UI, PEUC, and Fed Ed? Is it 46 or 59? Okay. So I had to like research the word aggregate a little bit ago. So, okay. UI, PEUC, and Fed Ed, the total number of weeks available here in California is 59. 59 if you're regular unemployment for maximum benefits. PUA claims are the ones that only have a maximum of 46 weeks. And that's different every state as well. Not every state has the program EB available if their unemployment rate is high enough. But some states, their unemployment rate has actually dropped recently. I have a feeling they'll all go back up. But some states' unemployment levels have actually dropped, and they're not doing extended benefits at all. Indiana's not doing extended benefits, and Florida's not doing extended benefits. I'm looking at my little cheat map because I made a video about that the other day. So the number of states participating in EB can change here in California. The program's called Fed Ed. And with that program, we get up to a maximum of 59 weeks total. But that depends on a lot of factors, like did you get all 13 weeks of the PEUC extension? And then again, for PUA, the maximum number of weeks is 46. Carl says, I got on unemployment in March. Says your base pay, does your base pay from March till December, will I have 7 weeks left? Will they pay me till the money runs out? Then do I qualify for Fed Ed after using up 39 weeks? So Carl, it's going to depend. So your PEUC is going to probably end around when mine does if you applied for benefits in March. So PEUC should take you right around that December 26th deadline when that program expires. And then after that is when you find out if you qualify for 20 weeks of Fed ED. John Francis, it's just going to be just like normal. Every 2 weeks. There shouldn't be any gaps. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks if you're here in California. It's just the usual amount of waiting time. I hope that answers it. Solomon, what should I do if the EDD rep told me if my 1099 was acceptable, but the website said W-2s? They sent me a letter in May to send 1099s to verify income. What should I do? So it looks like you were probably put on a regular unemployment claim, and in May, you send in 1099s to have your benefit amount go up. Or are you on a PUA claim and they're asking you again to verify your income? Because generally, if you had any W-2 wages, the EDD had to use that when they were determining your weekly benefit amount. But some people were allowed to show some 1099 income and have their weekly benefit amount adjusted upward. And if that's the case and you're still on a regular claim, that should be fine. Thank you, Jose. Zuli. Oh, Zuli retracted their message. Good morning. How long do you need to wait to get the PEUC approval? They do give you a message and a letter, but it comes so late. It's like you'll see the date you can certify again. I want to say about 5 to 7 business days on that. The one and only Gino says, if I didn't qualify for Fed Ed, how long will it be before they approve you for PUA? It can take, you're going to have to call. It can take about 3 weeks, but it should be retroactive. They're also going to send you a form where you need to certify that the reason why you're still currently unemployed is due to a COVID-related reason. And I'm going to ask everybody again to please like the video. Gonzo Hazel says, I have a hearing the 20th of this month, I think, for an extra $6,513. Thanks to God, you got $2,600 already, but the rest is until the end of the year. I wonder if they will put the rest before. Your question got a little bit cut off. If you have a balance on your claim after December 26th, if you're PUA or PEUC, that balance just kind of gets forfeited. So the only claims that are going to go past December 26th as of right now are a regular unemployment claim if you're not on the extension yet, or Fed ED extensions. Oh, there's the rest of your question. It won't pay the rest before the end of the year. It'll just be forfeited after December 26th, and then you would find out if you were eligible for Fed ED for those 20 weeks. And if they did, they should reload your claim balance with 20 additional weeks. Lewis says, you picked up a part-time job. It's like an extra $100 every 2 weeks. Will it lower your unemployment payment? Possibly. It depends on your weekly benefit amount. The EDD doesn't count. Well, actually, on $100 every 2 weeks, that would mean only $50 a week. Is that gross though, or net? Because if it's W-2 work, you need to report the gross. But if it's under $100, they don't count the first $25, and then after that, they do deduct dollar for dollar. So it can lower the amount. It can lower the amount, and if your benefit amount was, say, $40, earning $50. Now that wouldn't quite be enough, because if you earn $50 a week, they would only count 25 of it. If your weekly benefit amount was only $40, that would leave you with $15 that you would get for the EDD. Moonplant, they have trillions. That's a lot of money. That's our money. Yeah. Joe, thank you. Will the 600 ever come? So we don't know. And we don't know if it'll be 600 or 400. And we don't know how far it's going to be retroactive at this point. So Sally, the number to call and to get PUA, and that would only be if you didn't qualify for Fed ED, is just the regular this is the number to California EDD. That number is 833-978-2511. And I'll do that again. 833-978-2511. And I normally call around 11 a.m. on the weekdays. I don't call as soon as they open because that's been the advice from all the other channels. So I feel like they're really crowded. But 11 a.m. still early enough that they haven't like left for lunch yet and all that kind of stuff. That's my logic, at least. Moonplant says, didn't qualify for Fed Ed from a regular claim after exhausting the extension. Now I'm down to the minimum PEUC payment. Do you mean the minimum PUA payment? They might be able to adjust your weekly benefit amount. Call them and find out if they need documentation from you to prove that you should be at a higher amount. Because they do kind of start everybody off on a PUA claim at the 167. I'm gonna drink something. This is apple cider. It looks a little dark. All right, let's see here. Ooh, how do Californians get an $800 grant from the EDD? I don't know anything about that, but I will look into that and I will try and find out. Hello, John France. Okay. Thank you, John. I'm glad that you watched, and I hope that I cleared that up for you. Okay, Caesar says, my wife's unemployment ran out last week and hasn't got PEUC extension yet. We're here in California. Okay, so that claim balance, this is kind of what John Francis was going through. That claim balance is going to sit at 0, but she should see a date where she can certify again. That's a good sign. You will get something in the mail in about 5 to 7 business days. Everybody is eligible for PEUC. There's nobody that's not eligible for that extension. So it's just a matter of getting on and certifying again. And as long as she sees the date when she can certify again, that should be fine. That claim balance is going to sit at 0 all the way until she certifies again, and then she'll get paid like usual. And then again, that goes through December 26th. Good morning, Queen Smart. Carla says, does PUA end on December 26th? It does. Yes, I wonder. Already answered that. Magda says, today's my last day certifying, now waiting to see if I'm approved for Fed Ed. Okay, and you should get that letter in about 5 to 7 business days. Gothic Queen says, I just received $4,843 for my claim balance. Weekly is $167. And again, so they're probably loading you up. Let's see what they probably loaded you up with the full, I bet that's going to be 39 weeks, 4843 divided by 39. Nope. Okay, let's try it like this. 4843 divided by 167. So they give you 29 weeks of PUA, but that claim balance is going to expire December 26th unless they vote to extend the program. Queen Smart says, I don't know what's going on with your PUA. You've been waiting 7 weeks and haven't heard anything. Your claim is saying paying status, but you haven't received a payment. So I would call the EDD. I know when you're going from a regular unemployment claim to a PUA claim, they are going to send you something in the mail where you need to certify that the reason why you're still currently unemployed is due to a COVID-19 related reason. So make sure that you have your eye out for any of that. Okay, let's see here. Elaine says, I'm on PUA in New York since March. Am I entitled to 46 weeks? Will that get extended since the New York rate is about 10%? So PUA, 46 weeks in New York, that's a yes and a no. So your state is one that gives up to 46 weeks. However, the whole program ends December 26th. So you will not be able to claim all 46 weeks of those. The only way somebody could claim all 46 weeks is if they backdated their claim to February 2nd when the program first started. But since you applied in March, there will be a few weeks at the beginning that you didn't get the benefits. And the unemployment rate for a PUA claim doesn't correlate. That's only really for regular unemployment claims. New York is one of the states that gives out the extra weekly benefit amount, or not the extra weekly benefit amount, sorry. They are one that gives the extra weeks, but the whole program right now is set to expire December 26th. Cynthia says, you babysit and receive most of your wages with room and board. I have to verify income. How do I do this, please? So you're going to need to maybe have the person that you babysit for write you an invoice or like write you some sort of verification that you're receiving money from them. And if it's in room and board, you guys would have to figure out what the value of that is. And even then, I'm not sure that the EDD will accept that, but that's a good place to start. Let the EDD know what your situation is. Let the person who's giving you room and board for the babysitting, ask them if they can kind of write you a letter saying, what the payment is worth. I maybe wouldn't, when they write you the letter, I would just have it, for services, childcare maybe, or something like that. And write how much the value of that room and board is. That's what I would do. Again, I'm not sure if they would accept that, but you want to have as much in writing for the EDD as you can. And maybe call them and find out what they suggest, although they don't always give out good information. Okay, Lillian says, people who have not filed after December 31st, 2020, can you still file in January 2021? Not for PUA unless possibly you were going to ask them to try and backdate it. But if you're going to try and ask them to backdate it, why not just apply now? So and this is, of course, as of right now, Congress is meeting to speak about raising the debt ceiling, continued resolutions, which they call CR, avoiding a government shutdown on December 11th. And it is possible, better than a 50% chance, that they will at least extend the deadlines of the PUA and PEUC programs. If they do that, then you would still be able to file for PUA in January 2021, and you can apply for unemployment anytime. Okay, Solomon says, I'm on a PUA claim. I work as an independent contractor. I mailed in copies in May of your 1099s. So they are wanting something that shows net income, and the 1099s only show gross income. So the best thing to send is your Schedule C. That from your taxes, they're going to be looking at line 31. If they're asking for documentation, I would send everything you have, including like a letter, maybe trying to break it down to them. And I would get that back to them. But if they're asking for something else, it may be because maybe they're not actually satisfied with the information solely from the 1099s, because there is like a little disclaimer on the 1099 information, or like the EDD information as to acceptable documents, that says that the 1099 for PUA claims is not an acceptable document. You're welcome, Lillian. Okay. Thank you. John Francis says, thank you. You guys are very, very welcome. I love having you guys here on Sundays. If I could ask everybody to like the video. I really had fun. I went live twice on Thanksgiving. It was a lot. I think if I do that again, I would only do it once. But my mom made like a special appearance, and like I like helping people. I don't like anybody to feel lonely or anything. So yeah. Okay. DeGrums says, hi, I'm in Utah. I've exhausted my regular and 13-week extension, and I think you're correct, DeGrums. I don't think that Utah is one that has EB triggered on right now. But your question is, will I get unemployment again if they institute another extension? Yeah, it depends on how they write it. Like if they extend the PEUC extension, yes. If unemployment starts to become high in your state, which I have a feeling that it will. I mean, every state's unemployment rate seems to be climbing right now because a lot of states are going back on lockdown. Outdoor dining isn't as easy in the wintertime. So if the state's unemployment level gets high enough, you guys would have EB, extended benefits, trigger on is the term. I don't think you can totally open a new claim until your benefit year is over. But you might, I'm not sure how it works in Utah, but maybe call them and find out if you're eligible for a PUA claim. And then if there's any kind of like unemployment boost that they, depending on how they write the bill, but if it goes retroactive, even if you're not currently receiving benefits, if it was retroactive, you would get that boost for any weeks when you were getting benefits. But yeah, right now, Utah is one of the states that's not giving out anything extra. Good morning, Levon. I haven't seen you in a while, but good morning. Okay, so Dan's a member. Good morning, Dan. I just lost my place. If you started collecting regular California EDD benefits on 8/2020, what determines if you will qualify for any time of extension? Yep, I see your little badge. I see that you're a member. So first, thank you for that. You guys don't have to be members, but it does highlight your question, makes it a little easier for me to see because you've got a little badge next to your name. So you would get 26 weeks of regular unemployment benefits. And after that, after those 26 weeks are up, well, it's going to kind of depend on what's in that bill or how long they extend PEUC extension for. That's a possibility if some changes or developments happen with a new bill. But you would potentially be eligible for the Fed ED extension. And the requirements for that are during that base period when they first calculated your weekly benefit amount. My friend Chris is a member. You did not have to do that because we're friends, but I appreciate it. Good morning, Chris. Thank you. Now I'm all distracted. Okay, so yeah, Fed ED, if during the 12-month base period, you made more than 40 times whatever your weekly benefit amount is, then you would qualify for Fed ED, or you have to find your original award letter, take your highest earnings quarter, multiply that by 1.5, and if during your whole 12-month base period you made more than that number, would also be enough to qualify you for Fed ED. So yeah, Fed ED is a possibility for you after your regular claim runs out. IME, I'm not sure if I said that right. Anyway, how do I get back pay from April? You need to go on to Ask EDD and request that they backdate your claim. And then you need to also call them and make sure that they received that. Okay, let's see here. What else? Moon plant. Yes. PEUC, I'm going to imagine. You are welcome. Or no, PUA. Well, either way, moon plant, I'm glad that you got it. I'm glad that my advice worked. PETA says, I used up my Fed ED. My homepage says I have to reopen a claim, but I got a message in my inbox saying that they will automatically file a new claim. It's been 14 days. And I haven't gotten anything. Okay. So I am hearing, and I don't know this for sure, so I would maybe call the EDD first to confirm, but I am hearing that if your benefit year is over and you have the message to open a new claim, that is the step you need to take. It is my understanding that message was sent in error regarding the extension, that it's just a glitch. None of the admins on any of the Facebook groups that I'm on have talked about it. You guys will notice that you probably got that notice about 14 days ago. Notice Jenny Silver and I, neither one of us have made a video on that. And I think because we're kind of waiting to see what happened with today's certification. And yeah, it does not appear that another extension was filed on your behalf. And it does appear that you would need to reopen a new claim. And I will probably go ahead and make a video on that tomorrow after I confirm from a few more people that no extension was available to them today. Okay, Cynthia says, my daughter earned just enough to not qualify for PUA. We're going to put a pin in that because that shouldn't be true. And now her benefits are gone, but most earnings came from self-employment. What should she do now? Oh, so she had a regular claim because she made too much on that, even though most of her earnings came from 1099 work. Okay. Has she gone through her first PEUC extension? Because on a regular claim, she should get 13 more weeks of benefits, up to 13 more weeks of benefits, or December 26th, whichever comes first, through the PEUC extension. And then after that, and it's not earnings based. It's based, on her weekly benefit amount, whether she would qualify for Fed ED or not. If she has already been denied Fed ED, then she actually can call and qualify for PUA because of the denial to the Fed ED program. Okay. And we were putting a pin in that because there aren't any earnings requirements for PUA, but I misread the question. She had some W-2 wages. That's what disqualified her from PUA initially. But if you didn't have work history, like you just had a job offer, but you weren't able to take it because COVID shut the workplace down, somebody could potentially qualify for PUA. Okay, Carrie says, I saw that also for $800 from the EDD, but it could be a scam. Where did you guys see this? There was $500 from the LADWP. I have not seen anything about $800 from the EDD. I'm going to check out their homepage after this, and I'll check out those message boards, but please be careful of scams. Don't send any additional information to anybody. Anthony says there's 160 people on this live chat. She only has 50. Oh, I only have 56 likes. Yeah. Oh, I'm up to 99, but that's like half. If I could get the other half of you to please like this video, that would be amazing. And thank you, Anthony, for helping me encourage people to like the video. Val says, not sure if you've answered this, but will Fed ED expire 12/26? I wonder. You've got that good information. I wonder is correct. Fed ED does not end on December 26th. That program lasts up to 20 weeks as long as the unemployment level here in California remains high, which, people are being laid off again. So yes, that program will probably run the full 20 weeks. Ramon says, silly question, but is there a waiting period before the Fed ED kicks in if one does qualify? There's not, I don't know if you guys heard that. That was like a little, I don't know what that was. Anyway, there shouldn't be a traditional waiting period, but sometimes it does take a little while for the program to kick in, like an extra week for some people. Some people it's happening seamlessly. Some people are having to wait a week, but then when they certify, you'll be able to certify and get paid for all the weeks right up to when PEUC ended. Yes, Richard, I want everyone to stay safe. And he says, God bless. Jermaine says, good morning. You guys are all very welcome. I'm very happy to help you guys. John Francis says, thank you. I'm glad that you like my personality. And I'm glad I try not to give false information and false hope. I just think that really is sad. I don't want to make a video every day being like, oh, stimulus is coming. They're still just talking about it. Although I have to admit those stimulus videos have been very successful, and I've been very tempted to make them every day and just update every day because I don't know. I feel like it might help my YouTube channel, but then I don't want you guys to get annoyed with me and just be like, oh, it's just more talk. Like I'd rather wait until I actually know something about that. To make a video on it. What would cause a Fed ED extension to be denied? If you don't meet the earnings requirements, that's the only reason why Fed ED would be denied. And so a lot of people are wanting to appeal the Fed ED extension, but that's a hard and fast earnings requirement rule. So if you didn't make enough, I don't think you'd be able to appeal. Move this piece of hair. It's been bothering me. It's still there. Okay. All right. Sorry, everyone. Mindy says, if Corona doesn't kill me, not having food will. Please, please, please see if you qualify for CalFresh, EBT, food stamps, SNAP. It's all the same program, whatever you call it. Please apply for that. And please don't be ashamed to go to your local food bank. They do it at a lot of churches. You don't need to be a member of that church. You don't need to believe in the same faith as the church. It's also done a lot at schools. So there's a website, I want to say it's called 211.com. I want to say that's available in every state, and it will tell you what programs are available to you. Okay, where am I? Yes. Alvina says, when are they going to pass something so our unemployment doesn't get interrupted? We don't know. There is kind of the expectation that when they talk about raising the debt ceiling, continued relief, which is abbreviated CR, and avoiding a government shutdown on December 11th, that is when they will likely not give us like a boost or a stimulus check then, but it is at least better than a 50% chance that they would extend the deadline of those programs. So that's kind of what we're expecting. And that would, if they do the extension, that would be just in time to not have benefits interrupted. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, but we don't really know right now. HECDOT says, I use all your benefits from January. What can I do? Call them and ask them if you can be enrolled in PUA. That might be an option. Just call them and find out what your options are. Usually you would go to the extensions though. If you're out of the Fed ED extension, you would need to try to open a new claim. V2 says, I don't understand anything about how we'll have to pay taxes for this year in 2021. Do you mind explaining how we'd have to if we were unemployed? So yes, we don't, if you're in California, you don't owe state taxes, but you owe federal taxes on all of the unemployment money we've received, including the $600 boost, including the $300 boost. It really is going to depend on your individual tax situation. Do you have dependents? Do you have, how much did you make before the pandemic hit? Because, you'll still have your standard deduction. You'll still have all your usual deductions that you have, and it's just going to be different for everybody. I know for myself, I'm going to owe about $1,200 back, and that's at the 10% rate that the EDD withholds from your regular weekly benefit amount. I'm holding that amount back for the boost. $1,200 is 10%. I received the $600 the whole 17 weeks they gave that out. I received the $300 the whole 6 weeks they gave it out. Now, and I don't know how likely this is, there is some legislation in Congress that they're saying would only pass if those 2 seats flip in Georgia to be Democratic. But someone is trying to pass a bill that would allow us not to pay taxes on the $10,200, which is what all 17 weeks of the $600 boost added up to be. So we're going to have to see. But yeah, we owe federal tax on that, at least as of right now. Louis says, I just started my 13-week extension. Is it going to end December 26th, even though I still have weeks left? Yes, it is, unless Congress extends the program on December 11th, which there's at least a 50-50 chance that would happen. But otherwise, even though you have a claim balance, it would essentially be forfeited. Anna says, I receive $336 every 2 weeks, but mine will still expire. My claim balance is $504 now in California. Okay, so you'll get, the next time you certify it, you'll get the full $336 for 1 week, and then you'll get the remaining balance. Let's see what 504 minus 336, 504 minus 336. The second week, you're only going to get paid $168. And they're never going to boost that back up to the full benefit amount. Once your claim balance goes all the way down to 0, that's when the PEUC extension will kick in, but only through December 26th as of right now. The one and only Gino says, my friend wanted to ask me if he worked like in 2018, can he still apply for EDD? And thanks for answering. I mean, it would depend on why he wasn't working this year and why and what income documents he can supply for 2019. Because if he was only working in 2018, he probably does not have enough earnings history to qualify for a traditional unemployment claim. But if his business was affected by COVID, then he could potentially qualify for a PUA claim, but he's going to need to supply income documents and say like why he, how his business was affected by COVID and things like that. Ismail says, just certified your last 2 weeks of regular, and it says in the EDD web, I don't have any more claims. Please help. I think it's going to say you don't have any more benefits available to you in a few days, since you just certified today, right? Yes. Okay. So it's going to take a couple days, but in like 2 to 3 days, you should, when you log back onto your UI Online homepage, you should see a date when you can certify next. And that should be the PEUC extension, which you'll be able to certify again in 2 weeks. Oh, thank you, Queen Smart. And Rob 18 says, what happens after December 26th? What will we do? That's why the government's pretty awful right now for making us stress out like this, but that's really why we don't necessarily think they'll decide on the boost. They may not even decide on the stimulus checks, but it really is expected, especially with cases on the rise, that they will at least extend the deadlines of these programs when they talk about continued relief. And I am going to mention that if you're nervous about that, the best thing to do is call your local and state officials and tell them how much it's going to hurt you if those programs just stop. I mean, I think maybe we need to call Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, even though we're not part of their districts necessarily, and just be like, hey, you guys really need to work something out for us before that date. Because, yeah, a lot of people are going to just really be hurting if they don't make it happen. So I know that we've all been doing a lot. We've been quarantining, we've been calling the EDD, but now we got to call our government officials and like put the fire to their feet, so to speak. And we got to do whatever we can to try and get them to help us. Walter says, your question, your claim says there's no existing balance. I couldn't get paid. What does that mean? I'm not sure if you certified and you didn't get paid. Have you gotten all your extensions? Normally the claim balance does go all the way to zero before you get the first extension of PEUC. Mary Chu says, I'm in California. I started getting unemployment in August and I received a claim approval for 1 year, but the amount is for 6 months. Can I claim PEUA in February? So your benefit year is different than like your claim balance. Normally, your claim balance only gives you enough for 26 weeks, which would be about 6 months. After that, it depends on the legislation, because both PUA and PEUC, which is the extension, are set to expire December 26th. So we don't yet know if those deadlines are going to be extended. We suspect that they might be. So your next step, if they don't extend those programs, would be to go straight to Fed Ed. But yeah, normally when there's not a pandemic, you can't, even though your benefit year lasts a whole year, they're not going to pay you a whole year. They want you out there looking for jobs and getting back into the workforce. But things are different, this year because of the pandemic. But normally they're like, hey, you've gotten 6 months of benefits and that's all we're going to give you. Get out there and find a job. But obviously because of the pandemic and the high unemployment rate, they are trying to work with us. But yeah, Fed Ed would be your next step unless Congress extends the deadlines of those programs. Okay. Gonzo Hazel says, I found that I benefit status 1121 disaster assistance. So that is PUA, most likely. So it looks like PUA, that would expire December 31st. Caesar, you are welcome. Brian says, after PUA, is state extended benefits still available or no? So if you're on a PUA claim, there's no extensions right now. So December 26th would be it. If you have a regular unemployment claim, then after December 26th, Fed Ed is a possibility. Gonzo Hazel says, you're welcome. Richie Rich says, Colorado went to 4.9 unemployment for like a few days. So are we screwed? No back payments for my wait since July. It's supposed to be 4 consecutive weeks. Let me look at the website that I normally look at, which is C as in cat. I think it's, hang on, I get the thing is wrong, so I don't want to tell you wrong. Let me tell you what I look at in 1 second. Sometimes I flip. I know it's some P's and some B's. And I don't want to tell you wrong because I'm getting those mixed up. Okay, it's C as in cat, B as in boy, P as in pencil, P as in pencil.org. It's like Colorado. So it needs to stay low for 4 consecutive weeks before extended benefits kick off. And this was updated on November 26th, I want to say. The website updated November 23rd. So Colorado is still offering 13 weeks of extended benefits. And I have a feeling their unemployment rate is going to go back up. So I think you're going to be okay. But those extended benefit programs, including Fed ED, those can trigger off as soon as unemployment rates drop low enough for 4 consecutive weeks. And it's different in every state. Here in California, it's roughly 6%, but in Texas, it's under 8%. So it really depends on what state you in. Thank you, Darnell. Good morning, Susie. You qualified for regular UI and received a letter. Oops. I was doing so well without losing my place scrolling, and then this happened. Oh no. It looks like I'm really far behind on the comments. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, I got back to where I was. I'll try and read faster. I qualified for regular UI and received a letter asking for income. However, it's not PUA. Why would they ask for it? I'm not sure. That's really strange. You're the first person that I've heard to report that. Are you sure that did you get denied the Fed ED extension and get put onto a PUA claim? Because that's really weird. You're the first person that I've heard to report that, and I'll keep my eye out for more information. I would call the EDD and maybe find out if that was sent in error. Santa Cruz, 3,600. Your 26 weeks is about to run out. So going to be a gap in pay. No, there won't be. The next step is the PEUC extension, and the EDD, I have to say, has actually been good about that. They have handled that okay. Hectot says, I used all my benefits from January. What do I do? You have to, you got to call the EDD because I'm not sure if they're telling you you're out of benefits. There might not be anything left. Fred Amara says, hello and good morning. Linda, I filed on June 11th and have not received anything yet. Can you please help me? You have to call them every day. That's all I can advise. Is just keep calling them. John Francis was on Thanksgiving. God, because my 16-pound turkey. Cool. We had a 13-pound turkey for 3 people. It was way too much. They have to agree on a small stimulus because stock market is so high. That would be very nice. I wish that was the case. I know I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. After December 26th, I'm ineligible. What do I do? Well, we're just call your Congress people, but we're really hoping that they extend these programs. Tell me that you love me. Ha ha. We're going to cry, laugh. That's what we're going to do about that. Okay. Brian says, so I already exhausted my original unemployment benefits and I'm about to run out of PEUC. Is there anything after that? Yeah, perhaps Fed ED if you're in California, or extended benefits depending on what state you're in. That's all based on earnings requirements, but the Fed ED program does not expire December 26th. Okay. Richard says, I have about 3 weeks left of 13 weeks UI extension. Will we still get the additional 7 weeks? No, the whole thing's going to run out on December 26th as it stands right now. And any benefit, any balance on that 13-week extension is going to be forfeited. But you could see if you qualify for Fed ED. Okay, hang on. Sasiana says, I applied for Arizona PUA and it's been 8 weeks. How do I check if I got approved? You haven't got your debit card. Please, please, please call them every day and find out why. Because I'm not sure. Here in California, we're having a lot of problems with needing to send an ID verification can make a claim take a really long time to get approved. And now they've started asking for income verification. Carol says she loves my hair today. Which shampoo? So I used to have really light blonde hair and I'm using that like the purple shampoo, the Clariol Shimmer Lights, but this is just luck, guys. It's lucky how my hair turns out. Tella says, I have a question. So will Alabama give out any extra for PUA? Because right now I'm not getting any extra. Well, I still have that website open that I like to check on, and that's CBPP, and Alabama is not. So I think 39 weeks is right now the max that Alabama is giving. Alabama is not even doing any extended benefits for regular claims. So Tella, please call your representatives, let them know how much you need them to still extend these programs, let them know how much it's affecting you financially, and let them know that if they don't, make things work for you, that they cannot count on your vote in the next election. That's all the power that we have. They are our elected officials, and they're supposed to work for us. Okay. I have a friend named Tawana here in San Diego, but she spells her name differently. So I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Tawana's asking about North Carolina. So I'm going to use that same website, CBPP. So they give out 6 weeks extra on a regular claim. That is not very much. North Carolina, guys, I know in California, a lot of the states are way worse off than we are here in California. So North Carolina, they only give out 12 weeks of benefits on their regular claim, and then 6 weeks of EB. So North Carolina they got 12 weeks, then 13 weeks of PEUC, and then 6 weeks of EB. Oh, but you say you're PUA. So no, they are not giving out any additional weeks. It would only last for the 39 weeks. Oh no, Tawana didn't say which kind of, I scrolled up. Anyway, it looks like they're out. Call your representatives. V2 says, it says under my account for unemployment, the benefit year ending date is a year from when I applied. Yes. Does this count under PUA? I'm confused about your question. I also applied in March, so my benefit year ends in March. You mean when you're switching to PUA, if you get denied Fed ED, it would not take you through a whole year because the whole program expires December 26th. And then HECDOT, I skipped your question on purpose because I think I answered it. You're going to have to call them and see what's available to you. And if I could ask everybody to please take a second and like the video. April said, good morning. What about us in Alabama? Alabama is one of those states, they only gave out 14 weeks of regular unemployment and then 13 weeks of the PEUC extension. So call your representatives because they are not a state that has extended benefits right now because they're saying that the unemployment rate is not high enough. And yeah, and then the PUA, actually, I got to reread that. I'm not even sure if you guys get PUA for a whole 39 weeks like we do here in California, because they might only give you, it might only be 27 weeks total for you in Alabama. Please, please, please call your representatives and let them know how much not having these benefits in place affects you. Okay, I'm going to skip some of these because I got to HECDETs. Freddie Marr says, my question today is your claim ends 11/29/2020. EDD will do an automatic extension. You will most likely need to open a new claim. Does your claim year end on 11/29, or like that's just how much money you have enough to get through? If your claim balance hits 0, yes, they will file an extension for you automatically. Dan, thank you for being a member. Okay. And Ms. Tish, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm hoping that you're saying, yeah, I did in regards to calling your representatives. Cutie Pie says, what if you haven't received anything at all in Kentucky? So Kentucky on regular unemployment gives out 26 weeks and then 13 weeks of PEUC and 13 weeks of EB. Please call them. If it's been more than 2 weeks, call them every day and say, hey, what's going on with my claim? Hey, what's going on with my claim? I haven't been paid. And unfortunately, the different unemployment reps are probably going to tell you something different, but get on the phone every day until just the luck of the draw, you'll get that rep that'll just be an angel that will be able to help you with your claim. And I'm so sorry that you haven't gotten anything yet. WC1A, hello. Yes, you're answering that question. Alex says that's what you have to do. Sirius Peener says, will PUA be given out extensions in the future? Possibly, but we don't know unless Congress passes that bill. Jose says, I only have $700 left on my EDD account from the 13-week extension. After that, I'm on your own. No, perhaps you'd qualify for Fed ED, so not necessarily the end. Luis says, your EDD expires March 20th, 2021, but you run out of money December 28th. So basically on December, that means you're on the same schedule that I am. So on December 26th, that's really going to be the last day for the PEUC extension. And then from there, they'll see if you qualify for a 20-week Fed ED extension. Mike says, hello from Texas. Hello. Calibrate. Can I send my 1040 Schedule C as proof of income? Yes, that's actually what they prefer. And they're going to be looking at line 31. PUA, never been paid, was approved in June. Call them every day and find out why. I'm serious, every day. I know that's not what you want to hear. I wish I had a magic solution for you, but I don't. Call them every day and find out why they haven't paid you yet. PETA says, thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing. Aw, thank you. Frenamar says, yes. Yes, automatic. They will automatically see if you qualify for those extensions. Linda says, what do I do if I filed in June and haven't received everything? Call them every day. Carrie Cook, what did you see in the news article? That, are we talking about that $800? I got to look that up. Or if you can, link the article for me in the comments after this video is done. If you guys ever want to send me articles or anything, you can do it either as a comment on one of the videos. That's actually what I'd prefer because that helps the channel grow, as does hitting the like button. You can also send me things on my Instagram. It's Shelly's_millions. And I'm happy to take a look at anything. Or if you guys have video ideas that you want to see, I'm open to your suggestions on what you guys still need information on. Okay, I'm not going to get to everybody's question. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to take two. Just did the thing that I hate. Okay, I'm going to take two more questions and then I got to run for today. I do thank everybody for joining me. If I didn't get to your question, I'm so sorry. I am going live every Sunday and I'll try and get to it. And I'm going to try and catch up on comments I got behind because of the holiday. Had my mom here with me, which was very nice. And I hope you all had great holidays and I'm so thankful for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to do two more questions. WC1A. Oh. Yes, WCA is commenting to someone else. I did unemployment. Okay. Adamari says, my question is that my benefits year is 5/24/20 and I am in my extension and I do not know if I have PUA. So if you're on an extension, you probably are not a PUA claim. Did you have regular W-2 earnings? That would mean that you're a PUA claim. Delina says, if you move to state test up paying you your unemployment PUA. If you test up paying you your unemployment. I think that's supposed to say if you move to a different state, do they stop paying you your unemployment? They shouldn't, because even if you move, like we had employees that lived here in California while they were working with us. And then as soon as the pandemic hit, they had to go home to like live with their parents out of state. It only correlates to the state you worked in or that you lived in like during the year when they were calculating benefits. So for PUA, they use 2019. So if you're a resident in California in 2019, then California would be the state that you were getting the PUA from. I'm not quite sure if that was the question or not. Delina says, if you move, do you move to state? No, that's the one I just read. Fredamar, Sleepy Joe, lucky number 8. Only 8 people go to his rallies because they're trying to stay safe from the pandemic. I don't know. Adamari, how do I know if I have PUA? So I want to say under payment type, it tells you, it could say disaster relief, DUA, if you're a PUA claim. Otherwise, under payment type on your claim history, it would say UI for unemployment insurance. So that's how you would know. Also, if your end date says 12/31 for a claim, then you're for sure PUA. If it says on extension, that usually would mean you're a regular claim. Why do I have a not paid status? I'm not sure. There's lots of different reasons. So please call the EDD. Thank you, Sirius. Nancy, how do I get my previous claim disqualification removed? So you're going to have to call them and probably schedule an appeal for that if it's on an old claim. Delina says, my PUA set it in progress because you moved to the state. They stopped paying you. Call them. That shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't be doing that. Nancy, call them every day until they pay you. Manny, all right. I just jumped on. You're a big fan. My question is, has anybody heard, well, anything will come through in California that can still help? I'm on PUA and a single parent. We haven't heard anything, but there is a lot of expectation that they will at least extend the deadline of the PUA program past December 26th. But we don't know for sure. But that is the hope. Frenmar says, if you think about it, how can Sleepy Joe win? Only 8 people goes to his rallies. Janice said, I'm going to do Janice's question and then one more, and then I'm going to end it for sure, for real. Okay. If you receive money from a life insurance policy, will this disqualify you for EDD? No. Well, it would depend on if you take a lump sum or a like multiple payments. If you cash out your own life insurance policy, for example, I do think that you're supposed to report it to the EDD. I'm not a tax professional, so talk to a tax professional, confirm with the EDD. I think you report it, but it would only affect you for the 1 week where you received it. So you might not receive benefits for 1 week, but then you would go on to receive benefits for all the other weeks, unless you were taking like a monthly distribution or something, and then that could hurt you for 1 week out of each month. I hope that made sense. Chrissy, do extended benefits and on December 26th too, the claim after PEUC? Nope. That's tied into a state's unemployment level. So like here in California, I can't predict that much in the future, but if I have to use my crystal ball, I'm going to say that our unemployment rate is going to remain really high for more than 20 weeks. That doesn't mean we'll get more than 20 weeks of benefits under that program, but I don't think that program is going to go away for us here in California until after, we'll be able to collect our full 20 weeks. You guys know I work at movie theaters and I love them. We had, I think, our last location, which was in San Francisco. San Francisco just moved back to purple and they are now closed today. So that's more people going back onto unemployment, which means that those numbers, it's not just the movie theater industry, but California's totally shutting back down again. Our numbers are going to stay high. And that Fed Ed extension, which is the next one after PEUC, is going to remain high for a long, long time. Nicholas, I'm going to answer yours. I'm going to do a couple more. Nicholas, yes. If you qualify for the extensions, the PEUC one's automatic. Everyone qualifies as long as you're a regular claim, not a PUA claim. That will be automatic. Linda says, what do I do if I filed on June and you haven't gotten anything? Call them every day. I'm serious, every day. I have the best luck around 11 a.m. So that's when I would call. All right, I'm going to clarify DeGruns, and then that's really going to be the last question. If you haven't already, please take a moment and like the video. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me. Let's do DeGruns, and that will be it. Okay. So sorry, I didn't fully understand. So would I get another extension if they add one in Utah after exhausting your 13 weeks? And you said it wouldn't get any retroactive pay unless they add that in the bill. Utah doesn't have extended benefits available right now, but because that's tied into a state's unemployment level, they could have extended benefits in the future. It really all depends on the unemployment rate. So if the extended benefits do what's called triggering on, which they're not right now, then you would potentially qualify. Now, the retroactive pay. I'm switching gears and talking about a boost on top of the base amount. You would get that as long as that's how the bill is written for any weeks that you received benefits. If they decide for the boost to be retroactive, then that would be retroactive. If you're asking about like how right now there's not extended benefits in Utah, if they did kick on, would it be retroactive? I don't think it would be retroactive because during these weeks it wasn't available. So there, even if the unemployment rate gets high enough, I don't think they would back pay you, but you would be able to get them starting from whenever they triggered on. Okay. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question this morning. I do thank you guys all for joining me today. I got to read these faster in the future because I see I've got a lot of questions that I didn't get to. So, good morning to all of you. Good afternoon now. Hope everyone stays safe out there, and I will see you next time.